Welcome to the first atmospheric angling weather forecast. And what a week did we do in the first forecast on? So this is the synoptic chart at 6 a.m. on Wednesday the 24th of June. And we have this ridge of high pressure across the country. It's bringing extremely hot conditions to southern and central parts of England on Wednesday and Thursday. However, all eyes on this area of low pressure currently across the Bay of Biscay. That's due to move north on Thursday and Friday, and heralds a significant change in the weather across the country. It's going to bring in much fresher conditions from the southwest. There's a cold front that moves across the country on Sunday, but then high pressure starts to build from the southwest in the early part of next week. So stay tuned to see what this means for your fishing this week. So welcome to the atmospheric angling weather forecast issued on Wednesday the 24th of June. Now in these forecasts we're providing an average across 7 regions of England and Wales with a particular emphasis on fishing locations. So starting with atmospheric pressure. Now we've had high pressure in charge recently, that's dropping off into the weekend, and then we see this rapid increase into the early part of next week as those pressure systems move in from the southwest. Now here at atmospheric angling we don't just use one weather forecast model, we take the average across 7, that's indicated by the coloured lines here. But we also provide the spread across the 7 models, and that's indicated by the pink shading. So we can see there is some uncertainty over the weekend exactly where those pressure systems are going to lie across the UK. But generally the trend's the same. We're seeing this drop into Friday and Saturday, and really that could be beneficial for the fishing, given that it's coming on the back of some very hot conditions, some stagnant air that's been across the country for several days now. Now wind speeds, yes, they've been light recently on account of the high pressure systems. They're due to increase slightly, and again that could be a stimulation for feeding conditions. But the main story here with the wind is the direction. It's been weakly easterly for several days, bringing that hot air from the near continent. But as we move into the weekend, that switches to the southwest. And again, that could, it provides a freshening of temperatures, but also could be a good stimulant for fishing conditions. Now, of course, the headline news this week is the temperatures. And these plots show very clearly this drop-off that we're seeing into the early part of next week. Currently they're very high temperatures. Now the exact values here might differ from ones you've seen in other forecasts because they're an average across a region, and also we're taking an average across several models. But nonetheless, extremely high conditions, particularly across southern central parts of England currently, and with those conditions fish welfare becomes important. Dissolved oxygen is likely to drop off, particularly in shallower venues. But as we move into next week, that will improve, and it could also be a stimulant for much improved fishing conditions. Rainfall, not much on the forecast for the early part of the following week. There's potential for some as that cold front moves through on Sunday, but look at the orange whiskers here. There's a very large uncertainty across the models, so it really pays to stay up to date with the short-term forecasts for locating this rainfall. But if you are in a region that does experience some rainfall over the weekend, that could also improve the fishing conditions considerably. Now here at atmospheric angling we don't just look forward, we also look back, and that's particularly important because water bodies generally respond much slower to weather conditions than the air does. So to do this we use actual weather observations as opposed to forecast data. And really, this time of year, the index, and this is the index that we use, that we combine various different measures of pressure, rainfall, so forth into the index. It's generally quite good. There's a slight drop currently with these very hot conditions, these this high pressure conditions. But as we move into next week, a kind of northwest southeast split occurs. We see a much better better increase in our feeding opportunity index across the northerly regions, but also a dip across the southeast, and that's really as that high pressure builds in from the south. So really it's a northwest southeast split for the improving conditions for fishing into next week. Now for the river anglers, river levels generally normal at the moment. There are some rivers that are up, particularly around London, and that's on account of the heavy downpours of rain we got with thunderstorms in recent days. But generally it looks like they'll drop off over the next few days. It could be local rises if we do see some of these very heavy downpours. But generally I think the rivers are looking in quite good condition. So that's the atmospheric angling forecast for the following week. Do check out our website. There's much more information there than I can provide in these forecasts. Sign up to the free newsletter so you get the information as soon as it comes out, and I'll join you next time.